Let's see if we are live. Hold on 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second. Let's make sure we're live over here. Let's make sure we are all live. Let's see here. Marty says, good morning, Doubles and Banger Nation. Good morning, Marty. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hold on, just making sure everything's all copacetic and we're live. Give me a second. Just gotta make sure we're live. Just gotta make sure we're live. Alright, 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 alright. Alright, there we are. Audio work? Good. Alright. We're live on the X. Are we live on the X? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we are. We live on the Twitch. Let's make sure we are live on the Twitch. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. Let's see. Let's make sure we're live on Facebook. Alright. Casey's asked for IQST. IQST. Alright. Alright, give me 1 second. 1 second. And then let's take a look at... Let's take a look over here. Let's see about TikTok. Let's take a look at the TikTok real quick. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Nick says, good morning, Double Nicks. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The Banger Nation on TikTok says, good morning, Doubles. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day today. Hope everybody's making lots of money. Money, 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 money. Money! Yes. Alright. Alright, alright, alright.
Casey on YouTube said IQST, kid.
Yeah. I'll take a look at IQST. Let's take a look at IQST. Alright. Let's see here. Let's see. Alright. Let's see over here. IQST currently on a bit of an uptrend here. Up 46%. Up 46% as of now. Currently, it is overbought in the RSI. A little bit overbought in the RSI right over here. About right there. Alright. There it is. It's currently on the uptrend right there. Currently on the uptrend. Alright. So, as of now, that's what they got going on right there. Let's get some support and resistance lines over here for this stock. IQST. IQST. Alright. Has a high of $1.33. Has to break above that high a day for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alright. Let's see here. Alright. But yeah, IQST currently needs to break above $1.33 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Has a 6.7 million float. Volume is 35.8 million right there. 35.8 million. So the volume is higher than the float. That's good. Needs to really break above that $1.33 high a day right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. That's what it's got going on right there. So IQST on the uptrend and needs to break the high of day at $1.33 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Yes. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. Let's take a look at VEE. VEE. All right. All right. All right. VEE needs to break above the descending wedge as well as this little pennant right over here. It curled up a little bit off the descending wedge and then formed another pennant right over here. So curled up a little bit, dropped back down, had a little bit of an indecisive wick here. Thank you, double moms. All right, and needs to break the pennant right here for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. That's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. Needs to break the pennant right over here. And it looks like it's trying to curl. It looks like it's trying to curl above it right there. Alright, I'm going to get rid of this actually right over here. And let me get the support and resistance lines all over here. Joab says, good morning, Banger Nation. Good morning, Joab. Good morning, brother. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Alright. Alright. VEE needs to break above 3388. 3388, which is the resistance line, for it to be somewhat schmexy to me, and then has to break above the high of day at 3629 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Chris Kelso, thank you for the follow, brother. Thank you for the follow. All right. So let's take a look over here. VEE needs to break above this pennant. Needs to break this pennant right here. VEE needs to break the pennant and the resistance line at 3388 for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. There we go. All right. DXST. Let's take a look at DXST. Let's get a share party going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 100. 100, 100, 100. All right. All right. Hold on one second. Let me just make sure that the announcements go out. Make sure the announcements go out, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, we're going to take a look at DXST next. If you got any other stocks you want us to take a look at, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Put it in the chat. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. All right. There we are. There we are. All right, good. Just got to make sure that the announcements go out, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, ladies and gents. As of now, DXST is another sub VWAP stock. Another sub VWAP stock. Currently, it looks like it formed a bit of a pennant right here. Curled up slightly. And then basically just formed a bit of a channel right over here. All right. Needs to break above the $2.82 mark right there for it to be schmexy to mya. Needs to break above it. Needs to break above it. Needs to break above $2.82, which is the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. So that's what we got for DXST. DXST needs to break the channel and the VWAP at $2.82 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. CDNA as of now needs to break above this low volume right here. CDNA has a 51 million float, 110,000 volume right there. So it's moving upward on some very, very low volume as of now. I don't particularly trust this stock. Heavy float, low volume. All right. CDNA, heavy float, and moving up on low volume. Needs volume to remain friends with the trend. For it to be so much maxi to me. There we go. There we go. Alright. Alright. Let's take a look at TGHL again. TGHL as of now, TGHL has a 13 million float, 36 million volume right there. Alright. Looks like it went down here. Yeah, no. It pretty much is on a bit of a downtrend right now, TGHL needs to break the VWAP at $1.27 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. So that's TGHL right there. TGHL needs volume to break the downtrend and the VWAP at $1.27 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Hold on 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There we are. Boom. All right. But yes, TGHL as of now needs to break that downtrend and needs to break above $1.27 for it to be schmexy to mya. Ruby just popped up. RUBI. Let's see about RUBI. Price spike hit 99%. Marty says good morning to Joab and Casey. RUBI. Price spike hit 99% right there. All right. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. All right. Mm-hmm. Hold on 1 sec. There we are. All right. So RUBI as of now, RUBI went up 99%. 99% on a price spike. All right. Needs more volume to remain friends with the trend. Otherwise, it's just not schmexy to meow. There we go. That's RUBI. RUBI has to hold above the $6.06. VWAP right there has to hold above it and needs to remain friends with the trend. Yes, it does. TGHL. TGHL. Let's see how TGHL is holding up. Still not schmexy to me. Needs to break that VWAP at $1.27. TGHL still needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP at $1.27 right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. There we go, there we go. IQST, IQST. All right. All right, let's see here. IQST pulled back quite a bit. Needs volume to really break above that VWAP at 121 for it to be so much schmexy to me, but it seems like it pulled back. Yeah. So needs to really break above that resistance line at 120, the VWAP at 121, 127, which is the next resistance after that, and then 138, which is the high of day. So we got that going on right there. IQST, IQST needs volume to break the downtrend and the VWAP needs to break above $1.21 for it to be schmexy to me. But right now it's pulling back. It was a bit overbought in the RSI, so we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on right there. Alright, alright, alright. Okay. Alright, let's see what other stonks we got going on here. What other stonks do we have today? Someone requested VRAX. Alright, VRAX. Victor Romeo Alpha X-Ray. Let's take a look at VRAX. So VRAX, as of now, had a pennant right over here, right? And it looks like it's still going downward a bit. Needs to break this pennant and needs to break above $4.14 for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. If you take a look at the float is 776,000. Volume is 9.6 million right there. So we got that going on right there. VRAX as of now needs to break above the pennant right there. VRAX, VRAX needs to break the pennant and the VWAPA at $4.14 for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. There we go. That's VRAX. All right. There we are. There we are. There we are. All right. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Link in X.com?
Huh?
Did you put the links out?
Yeah.
So on X
Yep.
or YouTube?
I put them out. All right. All right. All right. All right. Oh,
I will check it.
yeah. I'll put it up again. I'll put them up a second time. All right. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our merch store, our merchandising store, ladies and gentlemen, the merchandising. Be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. We got all sorts of cool things. We got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got caps, we have cup and handles right there. And when I say cup and handles, I mean we have mugs, we have tumblers, we have mouse pads, and we have stickers, all sorts of cool stuff ready and we're waiting to go there. That's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, yep. Be sure to check that out. A link to join is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different. Just made different. And the early bird gets the cash. Be sure to check out our merchandising right there in order to get yourself some nice swag and help support the channel so that we can continue making more videos and more live streams and all sorts of other cool content right there. Yes, sir. All right. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check us out. Be sure to check out our 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. All right? And be sure to check us out over there. Be sure to show it some love. Be sure to get that $9.99 4-day trial right there. All right, be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. 'Cause that's the stuff right there. That's the one. That's the joint right there. Yes, sir. All right, and also, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our new 3-month deal that's charged at a discounted rate of $66.67 per month, charged quarterly. So be sure to check that out as well, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check that out. Again, the link to that is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, and of course, ladies and
Bobo
gentlemen.
Reeves said howdy.
Yes.
Lima Charlie.
Yes. Howdy, Bobo. Copy that, Bobo. Copy that. All right. And of course, be sure to get that 3-month deal while supplies last, because it is a limited time deal. So be sure to get it while supplies last, ladies and gentlemen, because it's only going to be there for limited time. Limited time only. Yes, sir. All right. Let me take a look at the Ruby. Let's take a look at the Ruby real quick. RUBI. RUBI. All right. Let's take a look at Ruby. All right. Ruby had a price spike upward and then pulled itself back down. All right. Had a major price spike upward and then pulled back down. Formed a bit of a resistance right over here at $6.09. $6.09 right there for it to be. It needs to really break that area right there. It needs to really break that little downtrend that's got going on. It's got a little descending wedge that it formed. Needs to break the descending wedge and needs to break above the VWAP at $5.84 for it to be somewhat mexy to me. RUBI needs volume to break the descending wedge and the higher day at $5.84. $5.84 right there. Marty says, howdy, Bobo. Hi, hope you're having a great morning. Bobo. Joab says, Bobo. And yes, I say Bobo. Bobo Beeps. How you doing, brother? Oh, I hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're doing well. ATPC. ATPC. All right. ATPC. Yeah, needs to break the pennant over here. Needs to break this pennant as well as the VWAP at $3.69 for it to be so much mexy to me. That's what we got going on. ATPC. ATPC needs to break above the pennant and the VWAP at $3.69 for it to be so much mexy to me. There we go. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going on. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 500. 500, 500, 500. Let's get to 500, ladies and gents. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. There we are. There we are. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Jamie asked for LIMN. LIMN. Let's take a look at LIMN. All right. Let's take a look over here. First things first, Jamie. Let's take a look over here. Let's get some support and resistance lines going on right over here. All right. First things first, though. Actually, the line that we really need to worry about is right over here. This is the VWAP right here. So, for now, I'm just going to keep it like that. All right. But basically, needs to break this descending wedge. Actually, it really needs to just break this pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Has to break above this pennant right here. All right. LIMN basically pulled up a little bit, went back down, consolidated for a little bit, and then started dropping just a little bit below the VWAP at 15 cents. LIMN is up 20% right now, up 20%. Needs to really break that pennant and needs to break the VWAP at 15 cents right there. RSI is pretty much normal. It's not overbought, not oversold. LIMN, as of now, really needs to just break the consolidation. LIMN needs to break the pennant and the VWAP at 15 cents. 15 cents right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. There we go. SDF asks for TGHL. TGHL. All right, let's take a look at TGHL. TGHL still on the downtrend as of now. Needs to break above $1.27 for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Bobo Beef says, I might be absent tomorrow and Saturday. Things are happening. Ooh, moving? Moving, Bobo? Ooh. I think it's the move. I think it's the big move that he's been talking about for quite a while. Hey, Bobo, there you go, brother. There you go. There you go. And by the way, congratulations on the move, brother. Congratulations, and be safe. You know what I mean? Be safe, then. If we don't see you tomorrow or Saturday, be safe, brother. Yeesh. All right. TGHL, as of now, needs to break that down trend right there. TGHL still needs to break the down trend and the VWAPA at $1.27 for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. So yeah, currently TGHL really needs to break that down trend right there, and it needs to curl above this area, which is the $1.27 VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. But right now, it's kind of just starting to form a consolidation pattern below the VWAP right now. That's TGHL. TGHL had some nice movement earlier in the day, but as of now needs to break this consolidation and needs to break above $1.27 right there. Can it curl? Let's see. We shall see. We shall see. Bobo Beef says, thank y'all very much. Of course, brother. Of course. Of course, Bobo Money. There we go. Yes, sir. Of course, brother. All right, all right, all right. Let's take a look at Ruby. RUBI. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right. RUBI, as of now, trying to curl his way up a little bit, trying to curl up. Let's see what goes down over here. But RUBI testing the VWAP at 575, needs to break above it. RUBI trying to curl its way on up. trying to curl back up and testing the VWAP at 574. 574 for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. There we go. Needs to break that. Needs to break that area right there. Looks like it might even be potentially forming a pennant, really. So we'll see what happens. It needs to break above that VWAP for it to be interesting to mya. Alright. Alright. Now let's get a share party going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 700. 700. Let's get to 700 right there. Alright. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Alright. Someone requested VRAX again. VRAX. How's VRAX holding up? VRAX is currently consolidated. Currently consolidated within the pennant right there. Needs to break the VWAP at $4.13. VRAX consolidated within the pennant. Needs volume to break the VWAP at $4.13 for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Alright. Alright. There we are. Someone requested KEEL, and then we'll take a look at VEE. KEEL, not looking schmexy at all. Yes, the only thing KEEL will kill is the bank account, probably because it's just so choppy. So, no, very choppy price action. KEEL, very choppy. Very choppy price action with indecisive wicks and low volume. Not schmexy to mya. That's KEEL. Let's take a look at IQST. Let's take a look. IQST seems to be pulling back down. IQST as of now needs to break above this downtrend over here and needs to break above the VWAP at 120. Also has resistance over here at 114, which it's trying to curl above. Needs to break the 120 mark though. That's the big one. That's where the resistance is. That's where the VWAP is. You know what I mean? So IQST needs to break the VWAP and resistance at 120 and break above the downtrend for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. That's IQST. There we go. Alright. There we go. Alright. ONDS. Let's take a look over here. ONDS needs to break the downtrend over here. It needs to break the VWAP at 689 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. ONDS needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP at $6.89. $6.89 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. That's ONDS. Very low volume as well, down 2%, down 2%. Not looking too schmexy right there. Not looking too schmexy. IQST. Let's see how it's doing. IQST trying to curl up a little bit. We'll see what happens there. Trying to curl off the downtrend there. Alright. Needs to break above $1.20. IQST trying to curl and break the downtrend and VWAP at $1.20 for it to be schmexy to me. It needs to break that VWAP, but it's trying to break the downtrend right now, so that's good. Just needs to break the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's take a look over here. All right. Let's see what other stocks we got going on here. Someone requested IREN. Let's take a look at IREN. Another stock that's pretty choppy. Choppy. Meh. All right. So, IREN. Down 2%. Needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP at 37.43. 37.43 needs to. Alright, it's extremely heavy. Alright.
From Georgia said,
yes. Oh, I see. Give me a second.
ATPC?
One second. Let me just finish up here and then I will read just a second. Give me 1 second. I lost my train of thought. Needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP at $37.43. Expensive stock. Expensive right there. Needs a lot of volume right there too. All right. Cornizolio says, good morning from Georgia. Good morning, brother. How about ATAI? Most definitely. Let's take a look at ATAI. Alpha Tango Alpha India. All right. ATAI. Atai Beckley shares are trading higher after the company announced it will be acquired by Lilly. So, it's going to be acquired. That's the news that they basically have going on right there. So, this stock, as of now, let's take a look at the float and volume. The float is 311.8 million. So, that is an extremely heavy float. Volume is 22.3 million. So, ATAI, as of now, has an extremely heavy float. Very heavy float and very light volume. All right. Now, if you take a look over here, it's on a bit of a downtrend, and it also is kind of consolidated below the VWAP right there. So, needs to break the consolidation and the downtrend. Needs to break above the VWAP at $7.49 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. That's ATAI. ATAI. That's what we got going on right there. All right. So that's ATAI as of now. Needs to break the consolidation and needs to break that VWAP at $7.49 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. That's how we do right there. That's how we do. ATAI needs to break the downtrend, needs to break the consolidation, and needs to break the 749 VWAP right there for it to continue to curl its way on up and be somewhat schmexy to me. You know what I mean? There we go. All right, all right, all right. Let's see here. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 right there. All right. All right. There we are. There we are. There we go. All right. All right. So, there we are. There we are. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our merch. Be sure to check out our merch, ladies and gentlemen. We got all sorts of cool merch and stuff like that. We got all sorts of cool stuff there. Hold on one second. Be sure to check out our merch, our merchandising right here. All right. Be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. You can check it out and get some new swag. You can get some shirts. You get some hoodies. You get some cup and handles. When I say cup and handles, I mean the mugs. You get access to our tumblers. You get our stickers. You get all sorts of cool stuff like that. Mouse pads, the whole 9 yards. Caps, hats and stuff like that, ladies and gentlemen. All that cool stuff. All of which by clicking the link in the description down below as well as the pinned comment section to get your swag and support the Banger Nation. Join the community, ladies and gentlemen. Join the community. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, that's what we got going on right there. Okay. Hold on one second. 1 second. All right. All right. Okay, good. All right. Let's take a look at TGHL. TGHL, 13 million float, 37 million volume. TGHL. TGHL needs to break the downtrend over here. It needs to break the downtrend still. It is still consolidated beneath the VWAP. Still needs to break above the downtrend and $1.27. That's TGHL. TGHL. All right, still consolidated below the VWAP at 127. Still needs to break above the downtrend right there. That's TGHL right there. TGHL. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. So that's TGHL right there. Let's take a look at ATPC. ATPC trying to curl its way on up off the pennant, but still needs volume to break that VWAP. ATPC, slight curl off the pennant, still needs volume to break above the VWAP. Yes, sir. All right, all right, all right. Okay. Let's take a look at Ruby, RUBI. RUBI, how's it doing? All right, RUBI still forming a pennant right there. Still below the VWAP, still below the VWAP. RUBI still consolidated below the VWAPA. Needs to break above $5.59 right there. All right. Let's see here. Let's see about LIMN. How's LIMN holding up? LIMN. Let's take a look. LIMN curling its way on up right now, curling its way on up and testing the VWAP right now at 15 cents, curling off the pennant. LIMN curling off the pennant and testing the VWAP at 15 cents for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. DSGR, Distribution Solutions Group, Inc. I could tell just by looking at it, the stock was probably an acquisition play right there. Probably got acquired. Oh, interesting. It's to be taken private by LKCM Headwater, $35 per share in cash for the shares it doesn't already own. Okay, so it's meant to be private. That's why it's consolidating along the VWAP right there. DSGR. Consolidated along the VWAPA. Alright. Not looking particularly schmexy to me, but we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 1200, 1200, 1200, 1200. Alright. Let's see here. Let's see. TGHL. Let's take a look at TGHL again. TGHL peaking above the VWAP over here. TGHL curling off the downtrend, needs to break. Alright, actually it broke it already. Broke the VWAP at 127 right there. Let's see what the next resistance is. Needs to break above the $1.32 line, which is the next resistance for it. Right up here. Needs to break the next resistance line at $1.32 for it to be schmexy to meow. Alright. TGHL, as of now, needs to break 132. Alright, it's curling its way on up, but needs to break that 132 mark for it to be schmexy to meow. Alright. 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 Let's see here. Alright. Oh, hold on one sec. There we are. IQST, 7 million float, 54 million volume. Let's take a look at IQST real quick. See how it's holding up. IQST. Alright, now IQST shares have been trading higher after the company reported a year-over-year increase in H1 preliminary new revenue results. But as of now, it is starting to pull back a little bit here. Alright. Alright. IQST, still pulling back a little bit. Needs to really break above $1.14. IQST pulling below support line at $1.14. Needs volume to break the $1.20 resistance / VWAP, because it's both in this instance right here. So yeah, there we go. Alright. Let's see how TGHL is holding up. Alright. TGHL needs to break above $1.32. TGHL needs to break above Alright. There we are. TGHL needs to break above $1.32, which is the resistance line. Which is the resistance line. Needs to break above that for it to be schmexy to me. Alright. Alright. Let's see here. Let's see. And let's get a share party going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1400. Just keeping an eye out over here, ladies and gentlemen. Keeping an eye out. Alright. Let's take a look over here. RUBI. Yes. Just getting everything all set up over here. Let's make sure everything's all copacetic on X. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Give me 1 second. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 1500. Alright. Let me just make sure that all my requests are over here. Hold on. Alright. Somebody requested ATPC. Let's take a look. Ooh, I just got a bunch of requests. Okay. So ATPC is first on the list. ATPC looks like it's moving its way on up, but still really needs to break above the VWAP. It's moving towards it, though. ATPC moving towards the VWAP. Needs to break the VWAP at 367. Needs to break the VWAP at $3.67. It's moving up, though. That's good. But it needs more volume. It still needs to keep climbing. For it to be schmexy to me. Alright. Alright. So, somebody requested TGHL. Let's see how TGHL is holding up. TGHL went up just a bit, pulled back down, fell below the support lines, and now is trying to break above $1.22. Grow Hub shares are trading higher after the company did announce a $400 million merger agreement with NChem, and they do have some unconfirmed Q1 earnings on July 28th before the market open. So they got that going on right there, up 48%, 48% right there. This is a Singaporean stock, not entirely something I trust, but I'm keeping an eye on it, ladies and gentlemen. I am keeping an eye on it right there. I am. But man, it's alright. You know what I mean? It's alright. You know what I mean? But it ain't my cup of tea. As of now. Ain't my cup of tea as of now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. TGHL. Pulled back. Needs more volume. And needs to break above $1.27 resistance. So there we go. All right. That's TGHL. EOSE. Someone requested EOSE. EOSE as of now did have a downtrend going on over here. A little bit of a downtrend bot right there. And then proceeded to kind of curl its way on up a little bit. Needs to break above $4.67. That's the VWAP right there. So EOSE curling up slightly off the downtrend. Needs more volume to break the VWAP at $4.67. Yes. All right. All right. RUBI. Let's take a look at RUBI. RUBI slight curl up, breaking the pennant. Broke above the VWAP as well. RUBI is slowly moving its way on up. Rubico shares are trading higher after the company reported a 94% increase of its estimate of net asset value results. So they got that going on. RUBI curling and testing the curling and broke above the VWAP. Needs volume to break above. Hold on. Let me get some support and resistance lines right here. Alright, so RUBI currently curling its way on up, curling above the VWAP, needs to break above the resistance line over here at $6.61. The resistance line at 661 for it to be schmexier to me. There we go. Alright. Alright. Let's see. Oof. Alright, we got 10 minutes till the bell, ladies and gentlemen. 10 minutes till the bell. The bell! The bell! It deafens me. Alright, let's see. Someone requested KUST. KUST. Alright. Very choppy as of now. Choppy, choppy, choppy. All right. All right. There we go. Sorry about that. There we go. Right here. And you know what? Just for good measure, right here. Needs to break above this little area right over here. Needs to break above $1.22. That is a resistance for it. KUST currently consolidated with low volume. Consolidated with low volume. Needs to break the $1.22 resistance line for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. KUST, KUST. All right. Let's see. I'm going to keep an eye on Ruby, see how Ruby's doing again. This RUBI seems to have been doing some moving. Yes, it is. It broke above $6.04. Still needs to break 661 though. RUBI still needs to break resistance line at 661 for it to be schmexy to meow. There we are, there we are. Alright. Keeping an eye on the stock right here. Alright. Let's get a share party going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1800. 1800, 1800, 1800. Alright. Just keeping an eye on the stock market. Yes. Alright. Pretty slow. Alright. Yeesh. Let's see here. Alright. Well, ladies and gentlemen, while I'm keeping an eye out over here and just waiting, how's everybody's day going, man? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Hope you guys are chilling out, making lots of money. Hope you guys are making your money, and hope you guys are just chilling, man. That's what you're doing right there. That's what I'm doing. Right now, keeping an eye on Ruby. Want to see if it could try to break that $6.61 resistance line right there. Right, it did break above 604, which is good. But yeah. Nah. Well, in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, while that's going on, story time. Story time. Something funny happened yesterday. Something funny happened yesterday. Okay, so I was actually chilling out yesterday, scrolling through the Tac. Yes, I was scrolling through the Tacs, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know where the algorithm pulled this. I probably watched some horror video game, right? And maybe just maybe TikTok was just like, oh, he likes horror, does he? All right. So it directs me when I swipe down, I get jump scared. Obviously, for those of you who don't know what a jump scare is, it's basically something where you basically something kind of catches you off guard, right? And because it's so sudden and your mind doesn't exactly process the image of what's going on immediately, and something jumps out at you, like let's say someone sneaks up behind you, jumps out at you, and scares the life out of you, that's a jump scare. It's something you weren't expecting. Your brain was not ready for it. Therefore, it triggered a response, which was, ah! You know what I mean? So, there's that. So, I'm swiping. All of a sudden, I see this, like, creepy mannequin thing just moved right towards me in the thing, and then it just starts like singing this creepy little song and making all these weird movements and stuff like that. I think it's some creepy animatronic mannequin thing. No, it's a person. As in, this woman was moving around all animatronic like doing the robot. I mean, it was creepy. Most hated says 1800. We need that 2000. Wow. Yes, sir. What's up, man? How you doing, most hated? How you doing, brother, man? Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're doing well. I'm just keeping an eye on the stock market, and while I'm doing that, I'm just telling a story time of what happened yesterday. It was pretty funny. So, I see this thing. I freak out. I almost threw my phone because it was it startled me, right? I'm like, ah! And the coach is looking at me like, you all right over there? I'm like, yeah, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. All right. I nearly threw my phone, and I'm looking at it like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, how did she make herself look like that? She's not blinking. She's moving around. Her facial gestures are robotic. Her body movement is robotic. I'm thinking this is like either some AI or like some creepy animatronic thing. No, normal person. All right. I get curious. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me take a look at the channel. Let me take a look at the channel, see what else they got. All right. And I realized that this woman looks completely normal. Just wore the makeup and did the whole unblinking thing and the creepy moving and the creepy dancing and the creepy robot movements like that. Just for the love of the game. I'm like, oh my god, I have a friend that would absolutely love you. Oh my god. Alright, because I have a friend of mine who makes video games. Yes, he's an indie developer, right? And he loves making horror games. I'm talking the guy loves it. I'm like, bro, I think I found your soulmate. I think I found your soulmate. Cause it I'm like, bro, I think I found you your soulmate, dog. She scares me like it's nobody's business. And meanwhile, my buddy has been like studying up on things that scare people, like scare the heck out of people for his games. And one of the ones I've seen, he saw something from what's it called? Uh, what's that horror movie called? The one with the girl whose hair is over her face, and then she's like moving in a contorted way, and then her head makes like a whole 180, and she's doing like a crazy, creepy, speedy crab walk towards the Ex. Is that the one? The Exodus or the Exorcist? Is that the Exorcist? Yeah, I think it's the Exorcist or was it the Shining? Nah, I don't think that's the Shining. The Exorcist, right? That freaked me out, and my buddy's like, man, I need to make a monster that does that. I'm like, okay, we have two very different thought processes. You're getting ideas and you're giggling like a giddy schoolgirl, and here I am, absolutely terrified. I looked at that, I'm like, nope, nope. Saw the girl dancing like the animatronic, nope, mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, no, ma'am. Bo Beef says The Ring or The Exorcist. I think it's The Exorcist. I think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was The Ring too. But it was.
1 minute to the bell.
Yes, 1 minute to the veil. Alright, but it was creepy. Like she was like making all these hand motions and creepy faces, and one of them was like the psychotic little smile that she just knows how to pull off. She goes wide-eyed with a psychotic smile. I'm just like, okay, lady, all right. You totally don't look like you're gonna like you. Probably yes, yes. The bail. You scared the heck out of me. I'm like, nah. No, but I gotta give her credit where credit's due. Like she got the moves. It takes skill to move like that. All right, I don't know where you learned that, but girl, you scared the heck out of me. And meanwhile, my friend's like, ooh, what a woman. I'm like, boy. Whatever. At least he's happy. I'm like, you know what, man? You know what, man? If you do meet her, and if you meet a woman and she ends up becoming, and she knows how to do creepy animatronic dances like that, and you both scare the heck out of me, I'm sorry, bro. I'm not coming to your house. He's like, come on, we'll have video games, and maybe she'll scare the heck out of you. I'm like, no, thank you, I'm good. Ever see like those horror movies where like, the ones that are like actually so creepy that it's like you think that like you're in a dark room, you're just chilling, all of a sudden you get a tingle up your spine like you're being watched after just watching a horror movie. Uh-uh. TGHL moving, by the way, moving its way on up. Oh my, nice price spike going on over here. TGHL moving its way on up. All right, needs to break $1.51 right there. $1.51 right there for it to be schmexy to me. That's the high a day. TGHL needs volume to break the high a day at 151. Price spike. There we go. There we go. That's TGHL right now, forming a bit of a top tail. We don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, and then I'm pretty sure AMEI is just a reverse split, so we're going to keep an eye on that right there. ATPC. Actually, you know what? VEEE. Let's take a look at VEEE. VEEE. Oh, my. Oh, my, oh, my, oh, my. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I was freaked out. I'm like, I was not ready for that. And the thing was, I think like the lady edited like some faces moving around the background and some figures moving around the background with creepy masks and stuff that looked heavily distorted, so they didn't look human. Obviously, it was a person, right? Walking around, but it looked so creepy and distorted that it didn't look like a person. It didn't even move like a person, but it was a person. And I'm like, oh god, that's creepy. Oh, that's right behind you. Yeah. Oh heck no. Mm-mm. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Like, there's friends of mine. I have friends of mine who are like, "Oh, I want to go look at that haunted house." You want to go look at that haunted house? You out your mind? I ain't going anywhere near that. Like, come on, come with me. No, we ain't going in no creepy haunted house. You kidding me? I'm Italian. We are superstitious as heck. I ain't trying to get cursed. The heck you mean? You want to get possessed by demons? You go right ahead. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Won't see me. Mm-mm. As soon as I see one thing move that shouldn't be moving, I'll be going 100 down the highway and I'll have forgotten my car back at the crib. Mm-mm. Anyways, VEEE as of now needs to break the high a day at 39.82. Most Hated says, can you please give me a quick update on KUST, brother? Yes, of course I can. 1 second, let me just put this up over here, and then I'll get KUST for you. VEEE needs to break resistance at 36.58 and the high of day at 39.82. There we go. So let's take a look at KUST for Most Hated. KUST. All right. So KUST as of now currently down 6%. Currently down 6% right now. All right, and has a bit of some chop to it right now. A little bit of chop right now. All right. KUST, very, very choppy. Very choppy as of now. Needs volume to really break that chop right there. But let's take a look at the float. The float is 626,000 and change. Volume is 1 million. So the volume is higher than the float. That's good. However, it needs more volume for it to really be schmexy to me. Let's take a look and see if there's any news. As of now, the last bit of news for it was on July 2nd. Doesn't really look like it's anything interesting there, but we'll take a look and see about the chart. The chart is very low, all right, so it needs more volume. There's a lot of indecisive wicks here, so it's going to need some more volume right there. But I'll give it a support and resistance line right now. I'll give it some support and resistance line right there and right there. All right, now, yeah, needs to break above $1.24 and it needs to break 129. The thing about KUST is it is very choppy, so I don't entirely trust it as of now. It's not one of my favorite stocks as of now, so I'm probably not going to mess with it. What the? Oh! Oh! Is that a ribeye? Coach!
Yes, sir.
Is that pancakes and a ribeye?
Yes, sir.
Oh my god! You know what? Now you're making me crave steak and waffles.
Is, Banger Nation, breakfast or dinner? Which is your favorite?
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Which
Which one is your favorite, ladies and gentlemen? Breakfast or dinner, man? I'm more of a dinner guy, but you know what? I could go for some steak and waffles. Like, ever had steak and waffles, man? I love steak and waffles. That's like my favorite breakfast right there. That and steak and eggs. Steak, eggs, and waffles. Now that's some big activity, but still, I could go for that. I could low-key go for that. I mean, I know those are pancakes, but I mean steak and waffles though. Like chicken and waffles. What about chicken and waffles? Chicken and waffles and steak and eggs. Ooh. Like just have a little bit of like one waffle, one couple pieces of steak, one chicken leg, and then like an egg right there. Just right there. I recently actually had some good chicken and waffles. Recently, it was good. It was from a nearby farm, right? So the chicken was fresh, and they made the waffles fresh too. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is the stuff right here. With the fruits on the side, brother, man. When I tell you it was refreshing, it was so refreshing. But yeah, no, KUST as of now down 6%. Needs to break above 124, which is the resistance. Needs to break above 129, which is the high of day. But it needs, above all else, volume because it's very, very choppy. That's KUST right there. KUST. Bumblebee says, one of my favorite things to do is act in haunted houses. Scaring people is funny. What do you mean act in haunted houses? Brother, man, they couldn't pay me enough to go into a haunted house. I'm sorry. I'm not going in there. What, run the risk of getting possessed? No thank you. I'd rather not. or like, get my soul eaten by some monster. I'm good. I'm good on that. You know? Bubble Beebs, all I'm saying is, man, if you're gonna be like a Scooby-Doo antagonist and you're gonna like run around and scare the people with the masks and stuff, and the evil little type of deal, right? All I'm saying, brother man, is if you turn around and you see something and that ain't no mask, I recommend that you probably leave the vicinity. So yeah. Evil Bobo. Alright. TGHL currently shot its way on up 98% now. Up 98%. Testing. Come on, baby. Come on. Can it break above 100? TGHL, yes it can. 101. There we go. TGHL, new bagger. New bagger. Up 101%. needs to break the high a day at $1.71 for it to be schmexy to mya. Yes, sir. All right. And now Casey Boyle says Ruby collapsed and halted. Let's take a look at Ruby. Ah, yes, Ruby. All right, so Ruby did pull up a little bit and then formed a bit of a resistance right over here. And then pulled back downward over here. All right, so yeah, it needs to break above the VWAP. It needs to break above the resistance at 547. That's Ruby, RUBI. RUBI needs to break the downtrend and the resistance at 547. 547 right there. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for me. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different. And the early bird gets the cash. And if you act now, you get the 3-month deal at a discounted rate of $66, $67 per month, charged quarterly. All you got to do is click the link in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so you could check it out, ladies and gentlemen. It is a quarterly membership that is actually much cheaper than that of the regular membership right there, so you could check that out as well. Yes, sir. And also be sure to check out our merch, where we sell all sorts of cool things, from t-shirts to hoodies to caps to cup and handles. And when I say cup and handle, I mean the mugs. We got tumblers. We got mouse pads. We got all sorts of cool stuff right there. Stickers and much, much more, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So be sure to check it out, ladies and gents. Be sure to check it out. All right? And of course, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to stay tuned for our show at 1:30 p.m. Power Play. All right? But before that, be sure to check out our YouTube channel at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money, where we do all sorts of live streams, stock reviews, stock analysis, long form videos, short form videos, entertaining videos, hilarious videos, other videos that are informative, and other ones that are motivational. We got all sorts of cool stuff there, so be sure to give us a like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. Remember to share, because sharing is caring. And of course, be sure to check us out on our X.com, aka Twitter, at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money, where we do all sorts of live streams, stock reviews, and stock analysis there as well. Be sure to check us out on our Twitch, at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money, where we do lots of live streaming. Be sure to check us out on our Facebook, at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money, where we do lots of live streaming, stock reviews, and stock analysis. Be sure to check us out on our TikTok, Tiki-Taki, aka the Tac Tac. The Tac Tac. You can find us there at DBL Nicks. At DBLNICKS, and the screen name is Coach Nick Money. Money, 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 money. Money, money. Yes, and yeah, be sure to be very careful of the scary animatronic dancing people on TikTok. They scare me. Anyways, I'm scared. Anyway. Alright, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our Instagram and Threads at Coaching Money, where we do lots of stock reviews and stock analysis right there. So yes, be sure to check that out. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for 1:30 p.m. for our new episode of the hit show that has been sensationalizing the nation over there, the Banger Nation specifically, Power Play. Hosted by the legend himself, Coach Nick Money, as he traverses the stock market prior to the Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen. The Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, yeah. All right. So be sure to check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check that out. All right. And yeah, you can find it there on our YouTube, on our X, on our Twitch, our Facebook, and our our TikTok right there. You can find it there, all of which is at Coaching Money, and obviously TikTok is at DBL Nicks. So be sure to check it out there. That's where it's going to be on. It's going to be hosted right there, and you're going to watch as Coach basically, reviews the stocks, gives his honest review and analysis of the stock market prior to the Power Hour. And what he likes to do is he likes to, take a look at the stocks, give his honest review and analysis, then let it simmer on high heat with a little bit of paprika, a little bit of sazon, a little bit of cumin, a little bit of turmeric, a little bit of tagine, all that good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, quick thing before we wrap up, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys have been watching and you're serious about small caps, don't just sit on the outside trying to piece it together, because we've got a 4-day full access pass for only $9.99 per $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out, and remember to share, ladies and gentlemen. And also, you can check out our 3-month package as well. We got that going on right there, and both of them are full access. So you come inside, you get to see how we actually operate live. You get to see how we structure trade ideas, how we map levels, how we think about risk, how we handle momentum. You'll get access to the next day early watch list, as well as a 24/7 market news flow, all right, which is actually on the right-hand side of the screen, complete with hyperlinks to the actual article, a synopsis of what goes on within said article, as well as a hyperlink to the ticker that is affiliated with the news within said article, so you can have all that information at the touch of a button at the tip of your fingers, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and of course we got pre-market, regular hours, and after-hours scanners complete with the ticker, price, volume, float, change in percentage, whether the stock is moving up or down, the time in which it was scanned, as well as hyperlinks to learn more about each and every one of the stocks that are being looked at on the scanner. So be sure to check that out. All right, because knowledge is power, and you're going to have all that information at your fingertips, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and of course, ladies and gents, it's got all sorts of things like catalyst context built right in. And, of course, you get access to our ticker tape built to catch stocks when they're starting to heat up. But before they go parabolic, complete with the hyperlinks as well there, too. All right, because, ladies and gentlemen, we don't do noise. We do structure. And if that's how you want to approach this market, grab the 4-day pass or the 3-month pass and come see it live. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. When you come in, let us know you saw us on the stream. We'd love to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That's pretty much it for me. It's Double Nicks. I love you guys. I will see you at 1:30 p.m. for Power Play. All right, everybody. Much love. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. Don't bump